Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. Welcome to our members area. We've got a special treat for you. We've got Terry from London on members area today. For all you people who think that I neglect the members area, I don't. But I hope you enjoyed the Spencer Fearon and the Coogan Cassius rinsers that I put up last night for you. A lot of production went into them. It was quite expensive, but that's what you people pay your money for. So I hope you enjoyed it. How are you doing, Terry?
No, I'm good, Russ. Shouts out to the members. I always go back to, I know how hard it was for you to get the members section up, just because morally you didn't feel right doing it.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, big salute to everyone for contributing, because this is how you keep, the truth in boxing alive, man. The guys like you are the guys who are just keeping it real. That's the only way I can describe it.
I think it's about 140 people paying £6, right? YouTube take the percentage, and then there's 24% US tax off at rest. So it doesn't even cover a tech bill. It covers helmets, just about. That's about it. But every little bit helps, doesn't it? You know what I mean? We're not rinsing people. And I have a deal with these here, 30 videos a month, 20 YouTube, 10 members. They got 37 YouTube last month and 10 members. So they always get over the 20. We're at 15th of September. They've had 20 YouTube already this month. And this will be the 6th members. So I'm on top of my game. I'm on top of the game.
As always.
I'm on top. There's a lot going on in boxing. I think we need to start with the Triller show. It's turned everybody against boxing. Wherever I go, people come up to me and they say, I'm done with boxing. You've had the same, I know that for a fact. You'll have seen social media blow up and that. But my main argument with it is this. These YouTubers that are interviewing all these people, why are they not interviewing Sam Eggington?
But it's the same reason Triller aren't paying Sam Eggington, right? He just doesn't do numbers. So my big issue with all of this was, it was a very simple issue. When Oscar De La Hoya pulled out and they got Evander in, why didn't they put Evander with Tito Ortiz, two guys who were completely shot, and put Anderson Silva with the other Brazilian guy, Vitor Belfort? I'm not saying it would have made it amazing, but what it would have done, Russ, is at least we would have got two reasonably competitive fights, right?
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily against the Triller idea. I like the fact that you can get some of these old guys to make a few quid and to have exhibitions, right? I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But Evander shouldn't be one of those people. I wouldn't mind someone like Tarver. Like, Tarver's still in shape, and Tarver didn't take a lot of punishment in his career. And you can pick up guys like Tarver, Clinton Woods. You can dig up guys like that, guys who have kind of looked after themselves even in retirement.
Clinton's knocked it back, hasn't he? Enzo Macarinelli for 200 grand. Said, no, I'm retired. I'm happy. What if I get knocked out and 200 grand, I'm not going to move out. It ain't going to make much change to his life. He won't change his car, he says. So he said...
but he'd do it for Tarver, though. If Triller offered him that 7-figure deal for Tarver, I'd take that.
7-figure? Probably. I don't know, but he would take 7 figures.
But Macarinelli, he's another guy. I put him on the Holyfield list. He's washed up. He's just washed up. I don't care how much running he does. I don't care what pills he's taking, whatever. I don't care what he's doing. He's washed up. He's done.
Did he get busted for PEDs then?
He did, yeah, about a decade ago.
Nobody mentions that, do they? He had plenty to say a few weeks ago about PEDs, and I forgot he'd been done. He got a 6-month ban, didn't he?
Yeah, you see, all of these guys they're mostly at it. You can't say all of them, but they're mostly at it at that level, because boxers are too insecure to leave anything on the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you just go back to the Triller thing, the David Haye Fournier thing was an embarrassment. Someone asked me on Twitter, how did I see the Tito Ortiz Anderson Silva fight going? I was like, it doesn't even go 3 rounds. And then as soon as Tito got touched, he fell over. That's embarrassing. You once used to call yourself the Huntington Beach bad boy, and you got knocked out. But Anderson Silva wasn't even trying. He was just playing with him.
He were neighbours with the guy who died in the Porsche from the Fast and Furious.
Paul Walker,
the blonde-haired kid, yeah, the model.
Yeah.
He lived in the same complex, didn't they? Yeah. Ortez and him, Huntington Beach.
Hey, yeah. So the sad thing about it is, Russ, these guys are all going to walk off for 7-figure payouts, right? And in about 10 days' time, we ain't even going to talk about it. They've won again. That's the problem. They've won again.
And all the YouTubers like Michelle Joy Phelps that were asking all these questions to these people, not one of them mentioned anything about how scary and how sad it was to see a Holyfield who was nearly 59 years of age. He's 60 next year, isn't he?
Yeah.
If you want to talk about it like that. We've got
1 year older, was he? 1 year older than Frank? 2 years younger than Frank?
Frank
Bruno.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have Frank Bruno out next against Oliver McCall. These things, listen, what these people don't understand is this, right? Father Time waits for nobody. Do you know when I go in there and I do a chest and tricep workout, do you know the next day I'm in agony? But do you know when I was a gym orderly in prison, the next day I didn't feel anything. Because
do you know why, Russ?
I'm 25 years older, aren't I?
No, because you're only doing 4 reps now.
You're a ball breaker, you aren't you, Terry? The John Fury workout. 4 reps and then into cafe. Father Time waits for nobody. Holyfield, when he came into the ring, I thought, well, he'll put up a good show. He should beat this guy here. You know, he's got boxing experience and all that. And he had something, I don't know what it's called. You know, when you're old at gym and you get caught and your legs do that funny, he had that syndrome, didn't
he? He had no punch resistance. None.
Whatsoever.
Yeah, do you see the bit where he nearly fell out the ring?
Oh.
That's when I was like, please stop the fight. Like, this is embarrassing. Like, I don't even think he got hit. He just fell out the ring because people don't realize that what happens when you get older, Russ, is you lose a lot of your fast twitch fibers.
Yeah.
They're the ones that go first. Your type 2s go first. But they're the ones that do most of the work. People don't realize that. Your type 2s do most of the work. So when you get older, you're just not as stable and you're not as explosive. And so Holyfield was trying to be like the young Holyfield, and his legs are like, no. And it was embarrassing. And you know, he probably had some of that secret sauce of, you know, nuts, berries, and juices, but it didn't help him. They should, for Triller, I'd like to see them come out and say we're going to have a cutoff point of like 49 or something. After 49, you can't do this. And if you took punishment in your career, you can't do this.
Yeah, I felt for him actually, but he got what did he get? 1.5
Holyfield. Yeah, it probably went all to the tax man and child support.
And he got 11 kids and he's been married 3 times or something like that.
That's more. Yeah, he's got more than that, mate.
More than every time he empties a load in a bird, he has a kid, doesn't
he? Yeah, well.
Bro, what is it with these guys over there? They all end up broke because they're all like shagging everybody that moves, getting divorced and falling in love and falling out of love. They end up with fuck all.
And then the tax man comes and goes, you know, you never paid any taxes.
Like David Haye, he's got problems with tax, man, I've heard.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I've heard he's terrible with money. David Haye's terrible. He has a big entourage. He's very generous, which is good.
So he has a reputation amongst his old friends for never putting his hand in his pocket.
Oh, David Haye?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you this. I know a story about David Haye renting a villa in Marbella and paying a £40,000 catering bill for all these people that were there all week, 40-odd grand, just for catering alone.
But you know what normally happens sometimes, Paul? Well, mostly happens. He finds someone else to foot the bill. Like, so I'll give you an example. He had, I can't remember the media company he had for his comeback, for the first Demori fight. And they were doing all of the kind of content for him, right?
Yeah.
And he refused to pay him. He's like, yeah, you didn't give me what I ordered, so I'm not going to pay you anything. Which is insane. Like, we saw them every day. They were here. Pay them their money.
Well, who didn't get paid, sorry?
The media company. So, you know, you do your videos, Russ.
Yeah.
Let's say one day you just were like, I'm not going to pay you lot. That's what he did. Just didn't pay him.
Jesus.
Yeah, they were thick as thieves up until that point. And it was like, right, we ain't paying you. It was the Salter brothers. That's who it was.
Well, I don't have that problem, maybe, because I do it for love of sport.
Yeah, but look, it was a car crash. Even the John O'Carroll fight was okay, but it's John O'Carroll, man. Like, I'm not paying money to watch John O'Carroll ever in my life.
And what about Joe Fournier running about saying, I went the distance with Davey Day, only 2 others have done that?
These are facts, though, Porky.
Yeah.
You know, we're never going to talk about the fact that David's probably on one leg and about 4 vertebrae. It doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are just going to go, well, Bell, you did it and people accepted it, so we can't be mad at Joe Fournier, right? So Fournier can now walk around going, he's got a better name on his record than most British fighters.
They reckon Tony Bellew's took 2 stone off, don't they, in the last 2 months?
Yeah, he'll try and get on this Triller thing at some point, I'm sure. But who wants to see Bellew? Or him against Cleverly again? No, thank you.
Cleverly. Look at how Cleverly's been sat in pub for the last 3 years, hasn't he?
I hope so. Definitely been on the woohoo.
Yeah, but definitely been on the old Jason Gavins. Punditry. What's the answer, Terry, now? Because these people who are doing these Triller shows and these other shows, the Eddie shows, the Frank shows and things like that, they're not telling the truth about what's going on, are they really?
I tell you who was, though. No, I tell you who was telling the truth, Russ.
Who? Donald
Trump.
Donald Trump, well, he just said basically nobody's interested in this. It's politics where it's at.
Yeah. And then he goes, this is a very bizarre fight. This is strange. I don't know what's going on here. I'm glad it's over.
Hey, and this guy put Mike Tyson on in his arenas for years, didn't he, with King? He was in bed with Don King, wasn't he, for 9 years, 8-9 years?
Oh, mate. Trump's a hardcore. The way he was commentating, Trump's a hardcore.
Trump just told it straight, didn't
he? Yeah, he just is like, wait, what's going on here? The best one he did was with the John O'Carroll thing. I like it. He goes, look, the guy who wins these last 2 rounds normally wins the fight. I was like, oh, okay.
You've got a picture of Carl and Rachel up again, haven't you? I can just see it. It's a little tiny picture.
Yeah, look at him. He's happy with life, man. He's living that Porky life.
Listen, mate, do you know what it is with Carl Froch, mate? People keep saying to me, why do you like him so much? I like him so much because he's kept all his money, right? He's not extravagant. He's hardcore with his money. And you don't see him making mistakes that other people make. And he once said to me, right, I'll tell you a little thing here for you. He once said to me, Carl Froch, I said, why do you keep having hard fight after hard fight? He said, why do I want to do 2 week on my own and 12 week with Rob and then go knock somebody over in round 1? What's the point in doing that? He says, it's like you're preparing for a marathon and then you're doing an 100-meter sprint. He says, what's the whole point in me putting myself through that camp? I'm putting myself through a camp to do 12 hard rounds with somebody who can fight. He says, so if I'm just going to knock somebody over, I might as well not put a camp in. He said, so do you see where I'm coming from? So he got the maximum out of his career because he was a late starter, wasn't he? And I admire somebody like that. Fair enough. He is a bit dry at times and that, but I get him. I didn't at first. I thought, well, I didn't like that. But I get him. And he's a nice kid. So I respect that. He's got the missus. He's got the kids. He knocked Groves out in front of 80,000 and sailed off.
I still, do you know what? People don't watch that video back. I don't think it was. I think it was half slip, half punch.
Fuck off, Terry, you ball breaker.
No, watch it again, Russ.
No, Groves tried to get up though, didn't he? But ref jumped on him and rugby.
But there was water. No. There was water everywhere. George was fine. Go and watch it back. George was fine.
Fuck off. Point I want to make is we wish the Cobra the best. But the Triller show, it's bad. It's bad. Bad. But moving on from that, Sam Eggington, Terry.
Jesus.
God.
Yeah, remember I messaged you Saturday night.
You messaged me and I watched highlights of it. What do you think?
It was, I said on Twitter, it was like on Street Fighter 2, it was like Ryu versus Ken. You know, where they just all got the same moves. Yeah, and the bit I loved about it, Russ, was, you know, like a lot of times you see boxers being careless with their foreheads, right? There's a point where they just gently touched foreheads and they said, we're just going to stay here and swing on each other, aren't we? And the other guy's like, yeah, let's do that. And they just stayed in the same spot, just swinging. And I just said, I love this, but these guys aren't going to make it to 60, man. Jesus.
But you've got to look at it like this. The only person that's waiting for Eggington now is DAZN, because Eggington is just a fucking one tough bastard, isn't he?
Yeah, Jesus. And he's understanding the craft better as well. You can see he's putting his shots together better. He's starting to sneak in some of those old veteran moves. You wouldn't want, like, Eggington versus Cheeseman. Jeez.
I mean, Eggington, right? Nobody's given him a second look since that fight, but he's carried boxing for the last 7 days. Nobody's had him on Zoom. Nobody's been to John Pegg's. They're all hanging out at the back of Joe Fournier. Didn't Joe Fournier say Coogan were flying out to Miami the day after to spend a couple of days with them before he went off to his island or wherever he lives? Curious or something, whatever that is, I don't know. But Coogan's flying all the way out there to see Fournier and Haye. But yet, why don't you just nip up road an hour and a half to Birmingham to see Sam?
But you know why, don't you? You know exactly.
Because he don't do views and he ain't got a nightclub or a private jet.
Yeah. But Jesus, he gave us Fight of the Year, though. That is
Fight of the year, mate. And nobody's giving him a second mention, are they? Eddie Hearn dropped him. You don't do views, blah, de blah, blah, de blah. You've got miles on clock. We're doing you a favour. You should retire. He's not retired. He's had a few fights with Hennessy. He's now WBC ranked. He's beat former world champions. He's got all trophies, all the way through levels, except his world title shot. So I'm Team Sam Eggington, me now.
I don't know if I want to see him in the world title shot, because the people with the belts will hurt him badly, mate. They'll hurt him.
But that's what he wants. And this is the hurt game, isn't it, Terry? And he just might get lucky. We don't know. He could just drag something from within himself and just go for it.
Nah, well, no. We've got to be realistic here, Porks. I don't want to see Sam Eggington jump in with someone like a Charlo and just get...
Well, couldn't they get him an IBO? Because I'd say he's a world champ then. You know my love for the IBO. I mean, is the WBA better than the IBO? Is the WBO? I mean, look at the WBC after that Valdez caper. I mean, all the credibility's shot to bits, isn't it?
Mate, we need the Porky world title.
Yeah. We need the Porky's Corner universal belt. We need the PCUB.
The hard road title.
We need the PUB, the Porky Universal Belt. Something needs to happen because it's going down pan. Now, I'm going to switch it on you now from Eggington. I don't want to talk about Warren's show because they didn't put Sonny Edwards on. Do you know that roadman killer, a.k.a. Stuart Little? They didn't put Sonny on, so I don't want to talk about that.
I heard the ticket sales for that were terrible.
Terrible, yeah, I heard that.
So apparently Frank was like, I'm not taking a loss on this because it's not leading anywhere. So I'm not paying all these guys money on a show that's not going to even make a profit. No thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. Well, we've moved on from Frank's show. Let's jump into straight away. Dave Allen fights on 1st of October in London at Tower Hill Hotel, is it?
Yeah, I've actually been there. I had a conference there once.
Yeah, they film Minder there at Sweeney over years, haven't they? Next to London Bridge, isn't
it? It's more Tower Bridge. So it's by St. Catherine's Dock, so which is quite a nice area. Really expensive flats there, but it's quite a nice area. You know, have a bit of food by the harbour. You know, it's the real Porky lifestyle, especially when it's sunny. You feel like you're in Upper Eggington.
Brilliant. Dave Allen, what's he doing? Is he just treading water till Eddie Hearn rings him?
Who's he fighting this time?
TBA.
Well, 50-50.
No, look, well, sorry.
The problem Dave's got is we know he's not at the level of a Huey Fury, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we also know that he's a little bit better than like a Kamil Sokolowski.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do with it? Just kind of put him in entertaining fights with middling British fighters?
He don't do the numbers that he used to do on IFL, does he, Dave, now?
No one does the numbers they used to on IFL. Funny that.
I just wonder what's going on with IFL at the moment. I mean, I'm averaging 10,212 a video now, you know, on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I just wonder what Dave's doing. Sorry, what IFL are doing, because they've got 700,000 subscribers, but they're only hitting 12, 13. But yet they're not much bigger than me, are they really?
No. And we've been saying this for a while. Think about it, Russ. The group of boxing fans who are consistent with the sport, they take everything in. So they'll listen to IFL and they'll listen to Porky's Corner. And they might listen to me for a little bit. The numbers are broadly similar. They were never in the 600,000-700,000 because there weren't that many people interested in boxing. There still aren't that many people interested in boxing. Mm-hmm. That's why, like you and I talk about regularly, we're hitting that boxing recession. It's coming pretty soon.
It's coming,
That's why you've got this Triller thing. All these guys like David, they realize the money's going to run out soon because people are going to realize they're being had. Mm-hmm. And then that's the end of boxing. Like, it'll be back to Barnsley Leisure Centre, or I don't know, the Great Victoria Hotel in Bradford. I mean, that's what we'll be back down to.
Mm. It's frightening, isn't it, what's going on at the moment, Terry? Frightening.
Yeah, but boxing did it to itself.
Do you think greed reached into everybody's core? You think?
Yeah, because everyone was like, well, we don't need to do this fight now. We can do it 3 years down the line. And I'm like, I can't swear on your thing, sorry. Who the hell are you to tell me as a fan when I get to see the fight? I want to see the fight now. I only want to pay for the fight now. Look at it. We're still talking about Fury versus Joshua. Why?
Can you
3 years after it could have happened.
Yeah. Can you tell me a fight that's in the pipeline at the moment that everybody's saying that's a great fight, apart from Usyk Joshua?
Which isn't even a great fight.
Canelo Saunders, they're the two fights of the year so far that we've said, yeah, I'll watch that.
Canelo versus Plant, I'll watch. Plant's the last guy at 168. Well, no, Plant and Benavidez, the only two at 168, I think, could give Canelo trouble. Outside of that, there's nothing left, man. Golovkin seems to be washed. Charlo's treading water. The other Charlo's treading water. Errol Spence, there seems to be something wrong there. Broner's pretending he wants to box again. What else? All of our usual characters, the people we could go to, mate, they're just treading water. Like you said, it's a sorry state. And the thing is, you got to blame the boxers, right? Because now we've got Sean Porter versus Terence Crawford. Fair enough. Those two wanted to make the fight happen, so that's happened pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Where's the rest of it? Where's the follow-up? Where's Yoka versus Hrgovic?
Where's Yoka versus Joyce rematch?
Yeah.
Where's
Dillian doing?
Where's Dillian against Hrgovic? Dillian knocked back $500,000 from DAZN for that and said, no. Then went to Matchroom complaining, and Barry Hearn had to calm him down, and he's now mentoring Dylan White. That's to keep him on side, isn't it? Because Dylan White, I've heard, is in the fucking wilderness, mate, at the moment. He's in the wilderness. He's like, what am I doing here? There's no pay-per-view at DAZN. Where do I go? They're all frightened, aren't they? Dylan were pay-per-view at Sky. There's none of that now. Eddie's gone, look, $500,000 for Hrgovic. What, when you give him $3 million to fight Del Boy and Parker and $500,000? No, that's not good to me, Eddie.
It's too late now, man. Like, you made your bed, lay in it.
Yeah. So,
but that's what happened, Russ. Everyone thought they could do Mayweather numbers, but they never did the Mayweather work. So no, I don't feel sorry for anyone. I don't feel sorry for these guys struggling now. And when boxing's done again, I'll be happy.
Will you?
Yeah, it's exactly what it deserved, mate. Exactly what it deserved.
Do you feel that a lot of people have to take responsibility for this? The governing bodies, the board of control, the managers and the trainers and the promoters, the boxers as well?
No. No, the fans do, because the fans have swallowed all kinds of stupid shit. We accepted Joshua versus Parker on pay-per-view. We accepted Joshua versus Takam on pay-per-view. We accepted this. It should have been stopped right there. When they told us the rematch was happening with Klitschko, okay, fine, it's a pay-per-view. And then it got downgraded to Pulev, then it got downgraded to Takam. And we still said it was pay-per-view, Russ. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Yeah.
That was disgusting. That was when the rot set in. Because remember, that was the same year that everyone else was putting on amazing fights on free-to-air TV. I didn't have to pay to watch Frampton versus Santa Cruz.
Go on.
Yeah, I didn't, you know what I mean? And then the year after, we didn't have to pay to watch DeGale versus Bedu Jack. We didn't have to pay that. That's the level of fight for me we should be getting every month as a boxing fan. Every month.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward, because once we started pointing out things like, well, you can't put Takam in at 12 days notice. And then Johnny Nelson, they wheeled him out to say that Takam's like Holyfield and George Foreman rolled into one and he fears for Joshua. And Eddie Hearn was saying things like, you know, I've got a squeaky bum here, Cougs, with this fight. You know, I know that was Melina fight. Look, we accepted it all, didn't we? And fans thought it was euphoria, and they were saying it's brilliant. Joshua's a big don. Joshua had been protected, hasn't he? But he does fight regular, but he's been protected, hasn't he? And that's when the rot set in. And we pointed it out, but we were told that we were haters. We were haters and trolls.
Yeah. Who called me a troll the other day? I think it was Kieran Farrell called me a troll about what I said about Amy
Timlin. What happened there? It's shocking me, that.
Mate, so Amy, God bless Amy's soul, right? She's still green. Like, she looks good hitting the bag and pads and stuff, but she's green. She's not a seasoned campaigner in this boxing thing, whatever anyone tries to tell you.
Yeah.
So they send her to Spain. I don't even think she's been abroad before this point. They send her to Spain to fight a Spanish woman. And now we know that Spain has a really liberal approach to doping. You know what I mean? So it's always a red flag when you got to go to Spain to fight someone Spanish, because you wonder what they've been taking.
Yeah.
So they send her out there. Bear in mind the team she's got around her, Kieran Farrell, who Adam Smith would call a stalwart of the British boxing game. And you got Dave Caldwell with his nose in the trough as well. They're both a disgrace to the sport as far as I'm concerned for even making that fight happen. Yeah. Amy Timlin hasn't even shown that she's British level here. So anyway, this Amy Timlin gets splattered for the whole fight. They have to pull her out. Like, she's just getting ragdolled in there. And so all I did is say, who allowed this to happen? And that Kieran Farrell pipes up and he calls me a troll. And all I said was, how can I be a troll for stating the obvious? Like, you're the disgrace to the sport here. And then, he starts talking nonsense. And then it gets to the DMs. And I just said, mate, wherever you want to see me, we can see each other. Because it's different calling me a troll to my face. And that's the problem you've got with boxing. Everyone is so eager to please Hearn, Porky. They're so keen to please Eddie. They're putting people in harm's way that don't deserve it.
Yeah, so keen to stay in the mix and stay relevant. But Hearn doesn't even look relevant at the moment. Josh Kelly were offered a 5-fight deal by Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Adam Booth knocked it back. They've gone with Wasserman Boxing. Derek Chisora's been offered a deal by Eddie Hearn. He's gone with 258 Management. Nathan Gorman, he's left Frank Warren to go to Wasserman. People are looking at Hearn and Warren now and they're saying, BT don't look in a good position. DAZN don't look in a good position. We want to be with Sky. What do you think?
So I look at it from a different perspective, right? Wasserman are just signing journeymen, from what I can see. I think Kelly's a journeyman. I think Harlem Eubank's a journeyman. I think Nathan Gorman's a journeyman. But they're journeymen in like the truest sense. Like really skillful guys who aren't quite world level. But if someone fell out of like a British title fight, you put those guys in there. and they'd be able to give a good account of themselves. That's what Western seem to be hoovering up right now. That kind of British tier. They'll give you a good, entertaining fight, interesting enough characters, and so you can just plug them into a Sky show. I don't think they're making big moves. If I was Nathan Gorman, I'm looking going, BT have got Dubois, they've got Joyce, they've got Adelaide, who they all prefer to me. So I'm number 4 at the moment, and that's if they don't sign any more heavyweights coming through, right? So he hasn't really got any options. And if he went to Sky, they'd put him in with like Nick Webb and Fabio Wardley. So it doesn't work for Nathan. Josh Kelly, they're not going to put him in with Conor Benn. So what was there left for him at Matchroom? Nothing. He could have gone to Frank, but I think he loses to Esselman and all those guys. So he goes to Sky. And then Harlem Eubank, I think Adam Booth was just like, if you can give him more money than he's been getting, I'll put him in Wasserman. Because that's how Adam works, from what I understand. Adam gets paid before his fighters do. Mm-hmm. So, you know, whatever this deal is, you know, Adam's getting a hefty check, and it helps to have George on the other side, right? His mate George Groves. So I don't even know if his mates now, if they've made peace, but you got George on the other side, so that's a contact. So you can kind of get the sweetheart deals that are quite hard to get in general.
I saw George Groves on Boxing Social this morning. I thought he looks at ease with himself now, doesn't he? He don't seem like that nasty little kid that he used to be, does he? He comes over all right, doesn't he?
You know, there's some people, Russ, that you meet and they never wanted to box. Like, I've met a few kids like that, really talented. I know kids who have won like national titles. I know kids who have boxed internationally, never wanted to box, but they were so good at it, it made them feel good, and they loved making people around them proud, but they hated boxing.
Yeah,
I think George is one of those guys who just had a functional relationship with boxing. Here's what I need to do to be a millionaire. I'm not going to do it any other way.
Yeah. Do you think he might be ready to come back, George?
I don't think George will ever come back. I don't think he likes the pressure.
He's got a 12 tour date tour with Carl Froch around country from next year. Those two strike me as guys who never loved boxing, if that makes sense for us. Maybe.
You know when you look at Carl and you look at George, they both had a functional relationship with boxing. Here's my way to make a few million quid. Once I've done that, I don't need to hang about. I'll be smart with my money. I'll do other things with it, and I don't need to hang about.
They have been smart, aren't they, them two, aren't they?
Yeah. But then there are other guys who actually love fighting. Like Martin Murray is a guy who loves fighting. Right? He is. And that's why he kept going for so long. And it wouldn't surprise me if he came back and did like a veterans thing, because he's the sort of guy I'd expect to do that. Whereas you look at Macklin hasn't shown any appetite to come back.
No.
And he didn't hang about longer than he needed to. Like Chisora hangs about longer than he needs to, but he's got bills to pay. That's the problem.
What do you think is going to happen to all the people that have been hula hooping Eddie Hearn if Eddie walks from DAZN? Because them dates that he was going on about a few months ago when he left Sky, they don't seem there, do they now, them DAZN dates? It looks like the Americans have froze him out. Do you think that, Terry?
We said that a long time ago, right? Yeah. Remember when we talked about it back in 2018?
3 years ago, May, when he started, you said the Americans will not like Hearn, how he's rubbing them up, because he was rubbing them up the wrong way leading up to that, going with DAZN, wasn't he?
Yeah. And so he did more to help Bob Arum and Al Heyman work together than anyone else could have. And they just said, right, this guy's going to get frozen out. And they said, look, Oscar, we'll help you get the gig there, but all of this DAZN money has to stay in America. It has to stay with us.
Yeah.
And so now you look at Eddie. Who's Eddie really got in America?
God, who has he
Danny
got?
Jacobs.
He hasn't fought for ages.
Yeah, Danny Jacobs. He hasn't got. Devin Haney's kind of gone independent for a bit. Canelo's doing his own thing.
Canelo's with PBC now, isn't he?
I think it's for this fight and maybe the rematch.
Mate, so there's 2 fights with him. And what about Anthony Sims Jr.? Eddie shit on him, didn't he?
Yes, and the guy ended up fighting in Dubai or something.
One loss and he dropped him, but Joshua lost. He didn't drop Joshua.
Yeah, who else did he do that to? Remember that kid, Austin Williams?
Yeah.
Who went, yeah, he fired shots at Eddie. Otha Jones III, another one that Eddie's got rid of. And Kosi Solomon, another one that Hearn's got rid of. Yalusinov, another one Hearn's got rid of. And now you look at Hearn and you're like, where are your friends in boxing now?
Well, it looks to me like his only friends are Dave Caldwell and Tony Bellew, the loyalists.
Well, mate, you've done your bit to pull Caldwell apart brick by brick.
Well, I've let people have the platform to tell their boxing story, and I've just let them run with it. And Dave Caldwell's welcome on here anytime to reply to it. It's no good having people ring me up here or send people to see me because there's no video coming down. And we've done it all within the rules. We had a legal person check them, so he's more than welcome to come on here. But no, it's been took down. Nothing. In fact, I might even go up to his gym. I'm not the type of guy I am. If I'm in the mood that day and I'm driving by, I'll call in. He can lock the doors all he wants. But I think something like that, if it were in football, it'd be front page of papers, wouldn't it? But in boxing, people are like, oh, it's not true. They don't want to talk about it, do they?
No one cares about boxing. If they did, mate, don't you think every budding journalist would want to be involved in boxing?
Yeah, of course they would, yeah.
There's a reason why you got guys like Steve Bunce still in the job. It's because no one cares about boxing.
Steve Bunce, jeez. What do you think is going to happen to Frank Warren then? Because Tyson Fury, it looks to me like he's all over the place at the moment, doesn't he? I don't think he's training properly. They don't seem to be promoting the Wilder fight, the third one, the trilogy. If that fight doesn't happen, what next for Fury and what next for Warren? Is it going to be? Are they going to go to court? And Aram, is that relationship all going to?
So let's see.
Go be a mess.
So BT are promoting the fight.
Yeah,
they're definitely doing that because it's on pay-per-view, so they have to do their numbers, right? The problem Fury has is he has to give Wilder that third fight or pay him. There's no other option. He can't fight anyone else. He will not be allowed to box anybody else. I'm sure that's why Bob Arum's frustrated with Fury, because he's probably saying to him, Tyson, you have to do this or you'll never be able to fight in Vegas again. And if you fought in Dubai, they'd still sue you. You can't escape this finding. You just can't escape. And so he needs to get the fight done if he wants to carry on with his career. If not, mate, just retire. Retire. Let's not see you again, because what he's doing is he's holding up the story right now. I'd rather see Wilder with the belt fighting Joshua, if I'm being honest with you. I think that's the fight the fans really want to see. Because they're the two guys who never went missing on their defenses. If you think about it, Wilder doesn't go missing.
Yeah.
That's why he had, what did he have, 14 defenses of his title?
I don't think he had that many, but he had a few, didn't he?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, how many Fury's never had a defense?
Never defended a belt yet, has he, in his career?
He might have defended one, but I don't think he has.
Didn't he defend a Commonwealth once or some minor belt, wasn't it? Forget.
Yeah, but nothing major. He's never stuck around. That's why you've got to respect Joshua, because Joshua does. Yeah,
he's stuck around, hasn't he? Fury's a bit erratic, isn't he? I mean, when you look at Fury's CV, yeah, he beat Vladimir, but he was 40. Yeah, he beat Wilder, but, you know, there's question marks over that, isn't there? And who else has he really beat? Fury. It's like when I look at Billy Joe's CV.
Yeah.
Go on.
I was going to say they've got David Haye type careers, haven't they?
David Haye type CVs.
Yeah.
Well, they're big at promoting themselves, but they're not really doing any elite fights, are they? It's always somebody who, you know, Billy Joe beat Andy Lee, but let's have it right. Andy Lee was a career light middle, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he got lucky in winning a title against that John Jackson kid.
Yeah, he was getting flogged in that fight, and he pulled it out, didn't he?
Yeah.
So Billy Joe beat him, But Billy Joe were taking step aside money from Kid Chocolate. Do you remember?
Yeah.
So the point I want to make is these people have played boxing and won. They're ahead of the game, aren't they? They've got the name, they've had the promotion, but have they really got the career? Tell me Billy Joe's top 3 wins. It's poo. Eubank, Lemieux, and Andy Lee. That's Billy Joe's best 3 wins. Tyson Fury, Vladimir, Wilder, and Cunningham, life and death with a cruiserweight. And it was life and death with first one with Wilder for Tyson. Vladimir was a stinker one, but that Tyson Fury's made millions. And then you look at Joshua's CV. He's done the business, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been professional.
You know what I mean? So I can see where fans are coming from, but these people are not fighting the elite fights. They're talking a good game, but they're not doing any fighting.
But that I partly, for me, it's 50-50 promoters and fighters. Fighters are there going, I only want to fight this guy when it's for a world title. Like I hear British level guys talking like that now. I'm like, just have the fight now. What else are you going to do? Oh, I've got to protect the O. For what?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
It's terrible. And like you were saying, what's going to happen to Frank with BT? So here's where it gets complicated. So DAZN have spoken to BT about buying the business, because essentially they want to buy the Premier League and the Champions League rights, right? Because that's how you get subscribers. But if you do that, Eddie hasn't got 500 million anymore.
No.
Just all of a sudden now, Eddie's going to be like he was at Sky Sports, where you're a distant second or third or fourth to the Premiership and the Champions League. And I think that's what Eddie's nervous of now, is actually you're going to end up in the same position you were in Sky, where you're not going to have enough money. Because to buy that BT Sport franchise isn't going to be cheap. And DAZN already sat on about 600-700 million worth of debt. So where are you going to get the money from to do that? And how are you going to get your return on investment? So I think that's the dilemma that faces DAZN at the moment. They're not going to do it on boxing because they've now realized. Because remember, they were going to get rid of Oscar, weren't they?
Yeah.
But they now realize, actually, Oscar's got Virgil Ortiz Jr. now, right? So he's got a legit guy at 147, and that's where the money is in boxing. If you haven't got a heavyweight, you want a welterweight. So now they've gone, well, Oscar keeps proving that he can develop talent. Eddie keeps proving he can ruin talent. Who should we really be backing at this point? If Oscar wasn't on the beak as much as he was, if he had Eddie Hearn's work ethic, it wouldn't even be close.
He hasn't got the work ethic though, has he, Oscar?
That's the problem. He knows exactly what to do. He just doesn't do enough of it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Calla Sauerland, do you think that he can save boxing?
No.
In UK now?
No. He hasn't got the stable. He will never get the stable. Noah's got the stable right now. It's too fragmented. Think about it. Just at the top level, you've got Sky, and they got Boxer and Wasserman. You got BT Sport, they've got Queensbury. Then you got Hennessy on Channel 5, right? There isn't enough British talent to satisfy all of those guys. There isn't. There's not enough top tier talent for all of those guys. So they're just signing up dross. Now move down a level to the small hall guys. What are they signing?
Dennis Fight Song. Who's he got?
He's got Cash Alley.
Dave Allen, Tommy Frank.
Yeah, so they're British operators for me. Yeah, Cash in a British title fight, I wouldn't be upset if he was fighting for a British. But then now you're starting to struggle for talent, right?
Where does it leave Steffi Bull with Terry Harper and Maxie Hughes? Because they've signed a deal with DAZN, haven't they? And Steffi keeps putting tweets out saying, "Don't forget us, Eddie."
I don't think Eddie needs him. What's he going to do with Terry Harper?
I know. And Maxie Hughes, he's done well, hasn't he, though? We have to give him credit.
Has he? He fought a guy that we didn't know before.
Yeah, but he's pinched an IBO, hasn't he? He's in mix, isn't he?
Mixed with who?
Well, he's got a belt, hasn't he? Right.
No, yes. He's got an IBO title. That's not a belt.
I rate the IBO, me, Terry.
I know you do, but
well, we'll see, won't we? What we're going to say to you now about the Haringey Cup. When's that next on?
Mate, no one knows at the moment. So I think they're doing the schoolboys. So they're going to do the schoolboys for now. We just got to get the calendar back to normal. But to be honest, Russ, there's nothing to be getting excited about in amateur boxing at the moment. There's nothing. Lad that I used to train, Courtney Bennett's just been put up to the GB podium squad. So now he gets to do a few tournaments. God willing, he makes the Commonwealth Games. But after him, there's nothing coming after that, Russ.
I want to touch on, I don't know if we've covered this. I want to touch on Hrgovic. Do you think he's avoided, or do you think he just prices himself out the fights, or do you think nobody wants to fight him?
I just don't think, I think there are better options than Hrgovic, right? That's the problem. The problem he has is he's not the only one at that level. He's at that kind of Joe Joyce, Tony Yoka level, but he's not the only one. Do you see what I mean? So I can get the same kind of boost to my rankings by fighting other people who aren't Hrgovic. And he doesn't bring anything. This is the annoying thing that boxers talk about. He doesn't bring anything to the table, as they would say.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? It's going to be interesting. Okie dokie then, Terry. Well, listen, thanks for coming on. Nice to have a catch up.
Great, lad.
We'll have a chat in a couple of days or something. I'll probably text you later or something. But what you got lined up? What you got lined up for today?
It's just a working day today, and then in the evening, I'll go do my pull-ups. So I'll be doing my version of a John Fury workout today as well.
4 pull-ups.
Yeah, but there'll be a 40-kilo kettlebell hanging from my waist while I do it.
40 kilo, like sliced along.
Yeah, I've got to prepare for the hard road.
Yeah, the hard road. I've just done a 200-kilo deadlift, and that was with me Corey. All right then, mate. Well, listen, you have a great day, and all the best, Terry.
You too. Take care, Paul.
Bye. Bye.